was born to be free.
Well, good morning. It's Saturday here in Studland Bay. It's about 8:40, so I want to leave in 20 minutes, so I'll get the engine on after this. Yesterday was spicy. Quite moderate seas and winds frequently between 20 and 25 knots. So yes, quite a spicy motor sail all the way here, which was about 35 miles, nautical miles. Today is the opposite. Calm sea, like glass. There's a guy over there on one of those electric boards that rises above the water. And you can see it's perfect conditions for that. That looks cool. So we've got 7-knot winds that are going to be switching from east to south to southwest, and won't really do very much. So I'll probably have the sails up, but I don't think they'll do very much, as we're going to head over to Weymouth. And I haven't been there before. It's a bit complicated getting in, I think. And I'm at Weymouth Marina, which used to be Boat Folk, now part of Premier, which is after a lifting bridge that lifts every 2 hours. On the even hours, and I've got to get past Lulworth Ranges, but they don't usually work at weekends. I've also checked, and they're definitely not firing this weekend. I think there's one weekend, maybe a year, where they do it as an exhibition type thing, I think. But I'll pick up the maritime safety information on 16 at some point. I'm just gonna, when I leave, I want to leave just towards the beach there, because I want to see how far these eco boys go. Because if I come back with Becky or the girls, they might prefer over there than near these cliffs. And then we'll circle round and we'll head out past Swanage and then set sail and engine for Weymouth. So thanks for coming with me. Do appreciate it. And if you've got any tips, hints, tips, please pass them on in the comments. So there's Old Harry Rock, and this is now the back side of Studland Bay, which is the other side. As you can see, sea state, flat calm. I have 5 knots at 30 degrees as I look to get around that headland, and then I can get a better angle on the wind. I've got both sails up in full. I just put the engine to idle, and there wasn't enough to sail motor off. I don't know if I'll get the motor off today, but we shall see. Anyway, so I'm going to just tone the engine down to maintain 4 knots, which is all I really want to do, to get there in about 6 hours. So let's see how this beautiful day, which could be another scorcher, pans out. Nice view of Swanage. Good anchorage out here in the right conditions, and there's a military ship in there just hanging out. Well, it's turned into an absolutely glorious day with no wind, 3 knots, so we're motoring. The sea is smooth, and we're just coming up to St Albans Head. Actually, it looks like, I know there's some big depth changes, nothing dangerous, but I can see breaking waves, so maybe we'll get a bit choppy as we just go past St Albans Head. There's no military firing today in Lulworth Ranges, which what happens after this St Albans Head. So I'll bring you back when we get into a bit of the choppy water. So look at that. Isn't that freaky? Smooth water just becomes then breakers. I carry anxiety about things like that when I was a kid. I never used to understand how there could just be completely flat bits of sea even in funny water. But I do understand why here it's 11 metres of depth, but it was 20, so there's a bit of a change of wind, a bit of rolling current from Portland, and when depth changes as well, you get us back to it like this. Seeing how it's changed. Here's it calm down again. I'll bring you back when it does. Well, yeah. So there's a headland again, and now look, I've come through it, but so it's just a big frothy thing. Probably all you sailors know about that. I'll look that up. I didn't know about that. Maybe I should look closer when I plan the passage, but nothing wrong with doing it. Everyone else is doing it. It's nice to know what to expect. I checked depths. I didn't check for races and things like that. Anyway, we're through it now. So, brought you back just after Lulworth Cove, which is back there. And I was waving to those people. They're waving back. Look at this beautiful coastline. Beautiful mirror sea, and Weymouth in the distance. About an hour away now. The tide is, as expected, carrying us nicely. We're in 6.2 knots with nothing helping from the wind. I've left the main up because if the wind blew up suddenly, I'd feel really gutted if I'd taken it down. So I'll take the main down half an hour out, and I'll get all the lines and fenders set up, ready to use the waiting pontoon if needed. Loads and lobster pots around here. And even, you know, and then they've told me I'm starboard side 2, so I'm going to port side 2 for the waiting pontoon, starboard side 2 fenders for my berth. Or maybe someone will raft me if I end up having to wait at them. I've no idea how busy the waiting pontoon gets. Not going to be anyone there. Is it going to be rammed? No idea. That's why we're doing this. But at the moment, if this current keeps up, and it is meant to, I just don't know what's going to happen as it swirls around near Weymouth. There's Portland Bill. If the current keeps helping me like this, and I keep up this speed, I'm going to get to the waiting pontoon about 25 minutes before the bridge opens. The bridge opens every 2 hours. So that will be great. If there's room for me, because I can wait and get through, and hopefully when it opens at 2 p.m, which is not early enough, I thought, and then I can have an afternoon. I've been thinking of cleaning my stainless. It could be a nice thing to do in the sun. I've been thinking of Weymouth, fish and mushy peas. No chips. Fish and mushy peas. I wonder if there's a good fish. There must be. Weymouth must be. Weymouth is ahead of us, and there's Portland. And my iPad's overheated, which is quite funny because we all know the risks of electronic navigation. Now I have a backup because I have my phone, which is in the shade, but I think the sun was just coming through and the iPad put up the kind of thermometer sign and said too hot. No, maybe it's going to come back, but it's all right because I know what the approach is. I know all the frequencies. I've written them in a piece of paper. The one thing that wasn't incredibly clear to me is, do I need to ask permission on Channel 12 from Weymouth Harbour for permission to enter the harbour? So I will do that. I'll call out to them and then head up to the waiting pontoon, either for a few minutes or for a couple of hours if I miss it. And then I know that the marinas on Channel 80 quite common when I get that close. In fact, I know the berth, so I don't even need to call them up. I can just go and register when I'm not checked in. But a little bit ironic that my primary electronic navigation has given up iPad because it got too hot. Lesson for me there, to always be super prepared. Lucky this time. Need to make sure I don't need luck next time. There's a bit more of a closer view. Weymouth, between the fort and there's a couple of piers there. You probably won't be able to see them. I can barely make them out. We'll get close. And then of course this bit of land, Portland Harbour. Just had a lovely chat with a guy. I don't know if you can see a big white sail out there. He hailed me as he went past, said he watches the channel, and said he was going to try his shoot. Obviously just seen my video where I tried my shoot. It's lovely to meet viewers, especially when they're encouraging about the kind of content I make. So thank you to him, and he gave me some advice about how to get in as well, because I was unsure whether I needed to call for permission. But he said just listen out as well, so I will do that. Well, we made it. It was a long motor sail, but actually time passed quickly. There's so much to look at on that coast. That is an incredible coastline. Jurassic coast. All the cliffs and strata, and Lulworth Cove I saw, and various other kind of potential anchorages, although they're very deep. And it was all quite calm. And then, yeah, I navigated my way into Weymouth. And the most strange thing about Weymouth as a novice sailor growing experience is all the people lining the river. I mean, it is an absolute seaside town. All the people lining the river, having their fish and chips, crabbing, all ages, no doubt all walks of life, just hanging over the railings watching. And then, yeah, tied up. I saw it was perfect. For quite a while I was watching the clock, and if the current stayed with me I thought I would get that lock, the bridge race, and we did. So we ended up having 15 minutes to wait, which was perfect, tied up, so easy conditions. Just put a midship line. I had a stern line, but it was not really needed. The midship line held her between wind and a little bit of current. And then I went and had a chat with some people who arrived after me, and they told me what to do, which was pretty much what I thought. And I let them go first. A couple of other people went before me, and then I got in line. And then I was very nervous. You'll see in the video I was kind of coming up here. I didn't want to get lost, so I really didn't want to have to turn around. But I found it okay, and it's lovely and wide, because these boats are side on. So there's a lovely wide channel down here, then it just gets slightly narrower with these yachts around. This is the sluice. I remember the Bumbling Sailor, I think, was moored close to that. Got to be careful, I think, at certain times because of the current that can go through that, but it looks pretty calm today. And stern side too, they emailed me that, so I knew what side to rig lines as well, so it was all nice and easy. So I do want to head into town in a bit. First I need to go and check in with Premier Weymouth, make sure my fob works, see what the toilets are. I'm desperate for a shower. That would be fantastic later on. And I'm torn between polishing some stainless, which would be a good thing to do, get a tan in the heat, and heading into town. I think I'll do the stainless and then town later. Oh, it's still hot here. But I polished all the stainless on the push pit and the pool pit, and I've just been into town for halloumi fries, mushy peas, and a haddock from Fish and Fritz, which had a good, healthy waiting queue, because obviously if it doesn't have a queue, it's not going to be any good. So how about that?